Today, we're cracking open Robert Greene's classic, The 33 Strategies of War. But listen, this isn't about cannons and cavalry. Think of it more as a practical guide for the battles we all fight every single day. In our careers, our relationships, and sometimes the biggest battles are the ones inside our own heads.
So let me ask you, and be honest with yourself, how do you really handle conflict? Think about the last time you were up against it. Maybe it was a coworker subtly trying to undermine you, or a friend who let you down big time. What was your gut reaction?
For most of us, our knee-jerk reaction looks a lot like what's on the left. We either dodge the problem, blow up in anger, or maybe get a little sneaky. And look, those things might feel right in the moment, but they're chaotic. They don't get us what we want. The goal is to shift over to the right side, to start thinking like a strategist, with clarity, with control, and with a real sense of purpose. And that's the journey we're going on today.
Okay, so let's get into it. How do we actually make that shift? Well, it all starts with adopting a completely different mindset. Robert Greene gives us 6 core ideals that are going to change the way we see the battles in our own lives.
Here they are. First, you have to see things as they really are, not how you wish they were. Brutal honesty. Second, stop listening to what people say and watch what they do. Actions tell the real story. 3, you got to be self-reliant. Then there's my favorite. Worship Athena, not Ares. Basically, it's brains over brawn. Choose calm, calculated strategy, that's Athena, over raw, impulsive aggression, which is Ares. And finally, you zoom out, get above the petty back and forth, and treat every single challenge as a chance to grow. This right here, this is the bedrock for everything else.
So where do we start? Not with your boss, not with your rival. The first battlefield is inside your own mind. Before you can win any fight out there, you have to get a handle on the chaos in here. It's all about mastering your emotions.
And that leads us straight to strategy number 3, what Greene calls the counterbalance strategy. Because when things get crazy, what's our first instinct? Usually it's to panic. But this quote nails it. Real success comes from having presence of mind, that ability to stay calm when everyone else is losing it.
And get this story about Lord Nelson. It's 1801, he's in a massive naval battle. And his commander, who's miles away, panics and signals for a full retreat. Nelson, right there in the thick of it, just calmly lifts his telescope to his blind eye and says, I have only one eye. I have a right to be blind sometimes. He ignored the order, kept fighting, and won a huge victory. That, right there, is presence of mind.
So how do we get some of that for ourselves? Well, you have to train for it. You push yourself into difficult situations on purpose. You learn to suffer fools gladly, which just means you don't let petty annoyances drain your mental energy. You do this enough, and you start to develop an intuition, a feel for making quick calls. And most importantly, you practice taking a mental step back, detaching from the emotion of the moment so you can see things clearly.
And what's really cool is that this presence of mind can look like 2 totally different things. Sometimes it means being hyper-aggressive, acting boldly because waiting even a second means you lose. But other times it means being the detached Buddha, stepping back emotionally and being incredibly patient while everyone else makes mistakes. The true skill is knowing which situation calls for which tactic.
Now, let's take this idea of mental focus to the absolute extreme. That brings us to strategy number 4, the death ground strategy. It sounds intense, and it is. The idea is simple. When you have a plan B, a safety net, you never give your full 100%. But when you have no way out, no path for retreat, that's when your mind becomes laser-focused. Survival mode kicks in, and you find a level of creativity and energy you never knew you had.
Look at the novelist Dostoevsky. This is a crazy story. He was literally lined up in front of a firing squad, moments from death when his execution was canceled. That experience completely changed him. He lived the rest of his life with this incredible sense of urgency, writing as if every single day was his last. And that intensity is exactly what produced some of the greatest novels ever written.
So the key takeaway is this number, 0.
That's how many escape routes you give yourself. You have to burn the ships. You have to destroy the bridges behind you. When there is no fallback option, the only way is forward, and your focus becomes absolute.
So how do we do this without, actually facing a firing squad? Well, you create it for yourself. You fully commit to a project by getting rid of your plan B. You start before you feel 100% ready, forcing yourself to learn on the fly. You actively look for high-stakes challenges that demand your best. And above all, you fight against complacency. You have to stay hungry. Okay, so we've worked on mastering our inner world. Now it's time to turn our focus outward, because most of our battles involve other people. How do you lead a team? How do you get a group of individuals all pulling in the same direction? Welcome to the social game.
This all comes down to what Greene calls the morale strategies. And this quote says it all. Morale isn't some fluffy, nice-to-have thing. It's the secret sauce. It's the emotional energy that allows a team, whether it's in business, sports, or even a family, to pull off incredible things.
Take Hannibal, one of the greatest generals in history. He didn't just drill his soldiers on marching. He invented competitive war games. Now, this wasn't just for fun. It was a genius move. It built their confidence, it created fierce loyalty to each other, and it got them all fired up for his cause. He was manufacturing morale.
And we can use that playbook right now. First, give your team a cause to fight for, something bigger than a paycheck. Second, you have to lead from the front. Show them you're in it with them. Third, be fair. Reward great work, but also be firm when people step out of line. Fourth, connect on an emotional level, not just with spreadsheets and logic. And this last one is so important. You have to get rid of the chronic complainers, the ones who poison the group's attitude.
All right, for our last section, let's flip the script. You've got your head straight, you can lead a team, but what happens when someone comes after you? This isn't about throwing the first punch, it's about the subtle, powerful art of intelligent defense.
This quote is the heart of the counterattack strategy. See, our instinct when we're provoked is to hit back immediately. But Greene argues that true power lies in patience. It lies in watching, waiting, and choosing the perfect moment to make your move.
And this story about FDR is just a masterclass in this. His political rivals were attacking him nonstop, just throwing everything at him. And he said nothing. He just absorbed it. He waited. And then they made a huge mistake. They attacked his little Scottish terrier, Fala. That's when FDR pounced. He gave this hilarious, sarcastic speech defending his dog that made his opponents look absolutely ridiculous and petty. He let them overplay their hand, and then he just completely turned the tables.
So why does this work so well? Because when you move first, you show your cards. You reveal your strategy. By staying on defense, by staying quiet, you actually make your opponent nervous. They don't know what you're thinking, so they start to get sloppy, they make mistakes. You control the tempo of the entire conflict, and you get to pick the exact time and place to respond for maximum impact. It's about turning patience into a weapon.
We've covered a ton of ground here. Mastering your inner world, leading others, playing smart defense. But let's zoom out one last time and tie it all together. Because this isn't really about winning an argument or getting a promotion. It's about something much deeper.
It's about redefining what warfare even means. It's not about destruction. Every challenge you face, every difficult person you deal with, every moment of chaos, it's an opportunity. It's a workout for your mind. It's a chance to forge a stronger, more resilient character. So I'll leave you with one final question. Forget about big historical battles for a second. Think about your own life, right now. Using the strategic way of thinking, what is the single most important battle that you need to be fighting? Thank you for watching.